Hey Sunrise, it's Andrew here with your small group questions for this week as we dive into Jude 5 through 16. And so as you look at our text, one of the very first things we need to come across, of course, is how is this connected to the introduction? Now we're in the body of the letter now. We're getting into the meat of Jude's argument. So what does this have to do with contending for the faith? And what does this text have to do with false teachers? So as we work through the text, we see the very first thing that he does in addressing the reality of these false teachers is not going to a modern context, but the Old Testament. What stands out to you in these three examples that he goes to? The wilderness wandering, Sodom and Gomorrah, and the rejection of the angels that we see in Genesis. What are some of these examples teaching us about the nature of these false teachers? What is the warning present? For from this, he then says that is the reality of these teachers. That's who they are. They aren't new, they're old. And so what does it mean when you hear the phrase, they follow their dreams? This is what Jude is saying, that is the motivation for them. What comes to mind when you hear that phrase and when you see it in this text? What does it make you think of? How does that then apply to the fact that they defile the flesh, reject authority, and blaspheme the glorious ones? How is this all coming together in the nature of false teachers? And so as you see this, we then come to a weird text in our book here as it talks about Michael arguing with the devil over the body of Moses. This comes from an ancient literature called the Assumption of Moses. We'll also see the book of Enoch later. Why does he use these texts, not biblical texts, but things that were commonly understood in their day as being wise teaching, just ideas about what had happened? How does this help us in our understanding of who these teachers are? Again, helping to build this argument using their modern day literature. And then as the text moves forward and brings it to a conclusion, he then once again gives three more Old Testament illustrations: that they walked in the way of Cain, that they fell seeking profit like Balaam, and then of course falling in Korah's rebellion. What are these three illustrations? How are they building on this reality now? We have the three, again, Old Testament illustrations, and we see three realities of judgment. What were the three judgments that they experienced in the Old Testament that then would carry out even further into here? And of course we see through this, he gives these 6 rapid fire examples, all of the beauty of his rhetorical devices: hidden reefs, waterless clouds, fruitless tree, wild waves, wandering stars, shepherds feeding themselves. All of these illustrations, how do these illustrations help us to get a picture for the danger that exists in these false teachers? And then, of course, as it concludes with the book of Enoch, it concludes with the reality that judgment is assured. Why is it necessary that we know that judgment is assured for those who are ungodly, for those who pose as a believer but are not? Why is that essential for our text here? And then ultimately, what is the point of this text? What do we gain from it as we read it? What does this have to do with contending for the faith? So hopefully you'll spend some time digging into this as we continue through the meat here of the book of Jude. Hope to see you guys on Sunday as we unpack the word together. And again, spending some time in our small groups talking through these great truths together.